All right. So while we are waiting on Ryan, first, let me welcome everybody. Excited to be here. Today's topic, we're going to talk about the best way to get listings with direct mail. It's a little 1-2 punch, and it is a perfect follow-up to last week's session, which is sort of the AI backend that will do the heavy lifting once you get the people to quote unquote raise their hand and engage with their seller dashboard. So I actually want to take a minute. If you missed last week's session and want to check that out, let us know, because it marries perfectly with what we're going to talk about today, first and foremost, and also because we actually, our guest last week, we are working. We had a Zoom with him yesterday to get our text scripts into the CRM. So if you want to check that out, if you want to get signed up, or you want to see a demo of it, you can check out the recording of last week. It's in the group. We also add those to wakeup.realestate, or just reach out to Mike or I, and we'll get that to you. That's number one. Number two, you can go to growwithjosh.com/smarty demo for a demo of the platform and links, etc. I'll drop that in the chat as well. Again, the reason why I bring it up, A, we got lots of great feedback from the session last week, and B, it's a perfect add-on to what we're going to talk about today, right? So what we're going to talk about today is direct mail examples, and I asked Ryan for like the 3 best ways to or 3 best performing sort of direct mail. I did. Well, I gave you some of the answers anyway, at least from my perspective, what's worked best for me from a direct mail perspective. And then Joe is on because iList, if you're not familiar with iList, actually here would be great in the chat below, whether you're watching on the live stream or in the Zoom room with us, can you let us know, are you using Thanks.io and iList currently? That would be helpful, right? So we know how much time we have to, spend on that. And by the way, what I'm also going to drop in the chat, and Mike will get it in the live stream as well. We have a Google Doc with my sort of catalog or list of resources that I'm using to get more listings and convert more clients, etc. Which of that on there is iList and Thanks.io. That's 2 of several resources on there. Adele says I have iList. Kurt Nowaski, not yet. So Elon is using iList. Giselle, migrating from KV Core. That's a follow-up to last week. Slowly but surely. That is the plan. Ryan is going to keep his... Ryan's mum's the word from Ryan on that front.
Can I say I can't say it, but I can't say I disagree.
So anyway, keep the comments coming below. And without further ado, because I also want to leave time to actually mastermind and brainstorm, etc. What I thought would be best is we'll start with the direct mail talk and some examples, etc., and then how that is integrated with what Joe has built to create a very engaging and just a good experience for the person getting the direct mail, or even the person getting the email or text or whatever, an engaging experience for the recipient where they can see the values and specifically 4 different value examples, or like, the value of their home, but from 4 different data providers, and they can even start requesting and engaging with cash offers. They can see listing options, etc. So we're going to dig into all of that, and let's start, Ryan, with the. You know what? I gotta enable share screen. Sorry about that. Let's start with the direct mail, and the three sort of pillars or buckets of direct mail that folks should at least consider layering onto their marketing plan and what they're doing to get more clients.
Sure. You see the screen?
Yep.
Yeah. So the first one, of course, is going to be getting your current database in there, onto a mailing list, which
Yep.
I don't think most people have done. I don't know how many people watching have taken your existing sphere of influence, gotten physical addresses, and put it either in Thanks or some other platform so you can mail them regularly.
That would be great to know. So in the chat below, do you have an updated list of your sphere of influence, past clients, your top 150, whatever you want to call it, but people that if A, you've done business with, or B, if you saw at the grocery store, you'd at least, exchange some pleasantries. And if not, that's probably your first bit of to-do work after we're done with the mastermind today.
Yeah, so you need to start there no matter what you send
Yep.
them. And this is proving out. I've seen it with you, Josh. I've seen it with my own stuff. I've seen it with Brett, who I've been working with pretty heavily. I don't know if Brett's on. He's an iList user, but he's been my like kind of iList test case, the iList plus thanks.io.
Yep.
His list of a sphere that he uploaded from Follow Up Boss, the scan rates on those are far higher. And also the scan rates are far higher on people who he knows for whatever reason who have been in his funnel longer.
Yeah.
So the reason I'm bringing this up is that a lot of people will hop into a thanks.io, or you'll start advertising, but you'll just go, oh, I want new business, and you'll go send something to cold people who don't know who you are. And
Right.
then when those people don't respond right away, it's a little disappointing because the best you're going to do with cold people is like you might get a 2 to 5% conversion rate, just opt-ins, but even after they opt in, they don't know who you are, so the trust isn't there for them to do business with you right away in most cases.
7, 12, 15, 20, 25, 30 touches, right? Like they need to
Yeah.
see your name and get value from you numerous times before they're going to be ready, willing, and able to do business with you.
Yep. So once I have that list in, it's not very complicated. For the people, I would start by sending an iList card because they convert the specific iList cards that we've been sending. I call them iList cards now. I don't know.
So let's give everybody an example of what you mean by that.
Yeah, let me. Brett's sending a bunch of these. It's funny, Josh. He had like a bunch go out with like the your logo here default stuff, and they got great conversions. Like the wrong logo was on them and stuff because we just didn't change the template.
Hey, have y'all
Um,
ever noticed that, Ryan, while you're looking for that, have you ever
yeah,
noticed when you're using any kind of automation, like from any CRM, if you mess something up and like the name says to, test
yeah.
person, something like you actually get more engagement from those than you do like on the real things? Like we've
It's
seen that on our
crazy.
side, just doing fun things. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm just going to apply that to my normal marketing, like on purpose now.
Yeah, Joe, I got expired from iList, but I'd sent them Fizbo marketing, like the wording, and this guy
Yeah.
was like, "What's going on?" And I ended up getting the listing.
Yeah, sometimes it's like when you like it's the shock treatment, right? It's like, hey, Miss Smith, and the guy's name is clearly Bob, right? He's like, who are you sending this to? Well, now you got a conversation going.
Yep.
Yeah. It's a chance to apologize a lot of times too, and be
Yep.
humble and all that other stuff.
Well, so
Um,
I'm just gonna weave in one thing real quick on that front. So there's automated values that they're going to get immediate access to, and you're going to get a lot of people that are like, "This is way off." Whatever. That is a wonderful opportunity. You have someone who is engaged enough to have that conversation, and I've even sent. When that happens, I send personal video messages saying, "Hey, don't shoot the messenger. Right? We're just pulling the information that's online." I'm happy to update it with you or even pop by and review, blah, 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 right? Like turn that obstacle into opportunity. Anyway.
yeah. So this is the iList card. Um, it's see how much X property might sell for today.
Yep.
And it's scan the QR code to instantly see valuation for independent sources. Now, a lot of people are sending this card. You might tweak the language a little bit, but in general, you should see 2 to 3% people scan this. When Brett sent this to his warm list, it was something like, it was crazy. It was like 13, 14%. I can't remember. It was a few months ago now, but it was
Mhm.
like through the roof with people who already knew him. So that's why I'm
Yeah.
try sending this first to, even if it's 20 people, like your aunts, your cousins, people you just know their addresses, and don't even just put their addresses on a spreadsheet, upload it to Thanks, and send this.
Yep.
They will scan it. So I'm calling this the iList card. Now, an interesting twist on this that I don't think I've talked a lot about is Brett is sending the iList card, but mixing it with just listed and just sold. So it's
Yep.
like a hybrid just listed, just sold. So this would be kind of number two. And the just listed, just sold idea for any of you guys who do have a lot of inventory and are regularly doing transactions a few a month, this is a good kind of starting point. Instead of just sending the iList card cold, you have a reason why you're reaching out to that homeowner.
Yep.
And it goes something like this. It's similar. It just says, we just listed your neighbor's house at this address. It's got a picture of that property, not their property, but it's their neighbor's house. And scan the QR code to see what your property might sell for today. And then the interesting thing about this just listed approach, let's find one here. It's a similar, this is a just sold version, but what I want to point out is that in the body, we're usually saying something like, if you want more details about this property, feel free to reach out anytime. So there's curiosity usually around the property that was just listed or just sold. So you can generate the lead that way. It doesn't happen through thanks. But the PS is always curious what your house might sell for, and it's back to the QR code, back to iList. So these scan rates are coming from the fact that you're touching them about something that happened in their neighborhood, but they're scanning to see, those four independent values.
So we're bouncing around a lot here. I want to just take a step back. So number one, your existing database, whether you have 100, 150, 200 people that would recognize you if they saw you at the grocery store or your kid's a sporting event, or the music recital, whatever it is, that they would know, like, and trust you. You need to get them into iList. Into Thanks, and hopefully integrate with iList and get them on a staggered send. Right? I would recommend sending them at least 4 direct mail pieces in a calendar year, in a 12-month rolling year. And iList, Thanks has that way you can stagger that out over the year, right? So you're not it's not hitting one time. You're kind of like spreading out the opportunities. So that's the first. I asked Ryan for 3 kind of pillars. That's number one. Ryan then started to bleed over into my number 2, which would be just listed. I think if it's a neighborhood that you want more business, you also should send a pending once the property goes under contract, and just sold. So you're hitting 3 touches for, and that may be 100 of the closest homeowners. It might be 50. It might be 200. It depends on your budget. It depends on, what the commission that you are, you have to decide how to allocate that. Are you taking, 1% of your commission, 5%, 10%, and reallocating back into growing your business? We can't answer that, but that's what, those are the first 2 pillars or buckets that I think we should be doing. And Ryan's showing more examples as I was walking through there.
Yeah, this one went to a likely to downsize list. This was just your neighbor's house sold for over asking. Let's go back here.
Now, okay, geez. So the likely to downsize list, that was a list that was generated through Thanks, correct?
Yep. So
okay.
So he's merging a few of the ideas here. So instead of going cold, he's going to the neighborhood where it just sold, and then he's filtering even further and saying, well, his market's more kind of like senior, older people. He's saying, well, just send this to people who are likely to downsize who live around this address for his just sold property. And he's doing that.
Gotta be careful with those words, Ryan. We're getting into that.
Yeah, I know.
Older people.
Yeah, it's bad when you see your name pop up on that list of like,
yeah, what is this?
Yep. Yeah. The empty nesters one is starting to kill me. All right. So you have you can filter down the target audience a little further, but basically just listed, just sold, see what your house is worth. Consistently making that offer is what people are scanning. And you guys can see the scan rates here. Now, what I wanted to share was kind of on the back end of the system, something that you can do. And that is if somebody scans once or engages once with mail. Josh, I don't think you and I have talked a lot about this. Thanks recently launched a way where you can put those people on a centralized warm list. a QR scan list, and then you keep sending to them. So for example, you see this 25 scans out of 71. It might be small on your screens. These were actually people who had already gotten a card in the past. And then it was like another one that's going out as part of a campaign to the warm scanners. What this looks like right here, we have our QR scans list. You can see there's 108 people on them. And then in thanks.io, you can specify that whenever you send a just listed, just sold or something, you can say, hey, if I get a scan, move them over to my main QR scans list. There's a setting right here. So you're doing a little automation.
I don't have that set up. I need to get that set up for me.
Yeah, anytime you send, it needs to go there. And I'm asking the team to just have that be global, so you don't have to send it up for every list.
Yeah.
But the punchline of this, I would say the third card that you should be sending is this idea of the thank you for taking the action that they took. Yeah. So the example is easy for me in thanks because they went and they scanned a QR code. This could apply to anything. It could be thank you for checking your home value on my site, which you've done a lot of, Josh. Like if somebody comes into iList and they check their value, you can zap that lead over, right, Joe?
Yep.
And automatically say, hey, thanks for checking the value on my site. And then Brett has a 5-card sequence that goes out to those people.
Yeah.
The scan rates, the follow-up scan rates on these are through the roof. Like because they know who he is, they've seen a few pieces already, and over time it just goes up and up and up. So on day 1, there's a note card going out. Do you guys want to see this? The note card?
Sure. Let's take, and then we're going to pivot, what they get when they're scanning with the iList seller dashboard, the engagement piece of it.
Yeah, we'll show the link. Yeah. This card right here. So they scan, they go into iList. They're probably getting automated texts and emails through the iList system or whatever CRM is connected, Smarties or whatever, for a couple days. And then a week later, this automatically hits. And it's like, yo, thanks for doing that. It's because a lot of people aren't going to pick up the phone when you try to call them, right away.
Yep.
This is getting like, it seems like almost everybody's scanning this when I look at it. Like they're interacting with it. If you ever need a local contractor, reach out. I forget what this isn't the one. It's the second one a month later that's getting the really high scan rate. Because what's going on is it's literally sending the same offer again. See what a buyer might pay 30 days later for your house. It's the same exact iList card. And then people are scanning it again to see their updated value.
Yeah. Yep.
So if you got
the 3 big pillars, I just want to tie this together for everybody. The 3 big pillars, number 1, people that already know, like, and trust you, past clients, sphere of influence, staggered send, ideally 4 times a year. Number 2, just listed, pending, and just sold. Number 3, more, I'll call it aggressive or, more frequent mail to the engaged people.
Yeah. Automated.
Yes.
Because you're not going to remember to do it next month.
Yep.
That's the big light bulb for me, Josh. We've done a lot of campaigns that are just sitting there like, it kind of worked the first time, and then there's just mailing lists sitting there that haven't gotten another piece.
Here's what we may do, Ryan. I think we're going to do a bonus session where you help me. I have some of this going, but some of some of the updates you've made at Thanks and so forth, I don't have all of this going ideally and to the degree that I should. So I think we'll do a standalone session, you and I building it out. We'll record it and we'll include that with the replay of this for those that want to see. And we do have all of the templates, anything that we're showing here and discussing, et cetera. Like, it's all available to you. The templates are all available. Someone says, Carrie says, can anyone help us set all this up? Absolutely.
The thanks team will do a lot of this too if you book over there.
Yep. And if you use my affiliate link, we can even help. growwithjosh.com/thanks. Growwithjosh.
Yeah, Mike knows more about the system actually than a lot of the people on the thanks team. So I would go that route. Just kidding.
You know what I like about this? Like something I would not have thought about until I'm sitting here looking at those results is retargeting people that have scanned it once. Like that's normally I'm sitting here thinking like if they're not scanning it once, I'm going to follow up with them several times, normal follow-up. But the fact that they've scanned it once, narrowing that audience and having a focus there, that's a pretty interesting route right there.
So Brett's got 108 people now who've scanned off just listed cards and some of these cold iList cards. That's 108 people who are probably going to see 5 pieces of mail from him this year. He'll probably spend between $5 and $10 a head, when you blend in the cost of the different types for the year. He owns the mind share of those 180 people in terms of who am I going to list my house with. It's got to be like he'll probably, even if it's only like 5 of them who eventually list with him.
Yep.
That's probably a low number, right?
And here's the thing. So the thing that a lot of this happens in silence. And what I mean by that is you'll see that they're scanning and they're engaging, etc. But if you chase them too hard, you might chase them away. And then what will happen is you will get the come list me call, text, or email where you literally all you have to do is bring the paperwork.
Yep.
Like you've already won the business.
By the way, all these people are being Facebook retargeted too, because the iList, the pixels on the iList page, so they're all seeing Brett everywhere they go on Facebook. It's like it's a lock, and I keep telling them like that after the new year when the season comes again, that's when you're going to reap.
It will be an avalanche.
You have to do this all year long until it really pays off. But I expect the first few months of the year are going to be great. Let me show you an expired card and then show you the iList URL because we wanted to get to that, right?
Yes, 100%.
I just want to show you guys a card that worked really well. This was an imported list from Mojo. I consider 6 scans from expireds pretty good out of 200. It's only like a 2 or 3%, but it's pretty good. And 4 of them repeat scanned. But it's a really simple card. Are you still accepting offers? Scan this QR code to see 2 cash offers now. Yep. So pretty simple. He even had his own like thing here. And then where is this going? It's going to iList again. We've
never used a message like that on an expired. That's so obvious.
Simple.
And Ryan, that's what I was going to ask you. Like we're talking about the values, which that's always a great conversation starter. But one of the things that's always intrigued me is very similar to that card that you just sent out is, to not oversimplify it, scan here to see 3 cash offers on your house right now. Like, I think me as a real estate agent, if I got that sent to my house, I would even scan it just out of pure curiosity.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, they're a FSBO or an expired, in this case, an expired. They were trying to sell it. They haven't sold yet. They're probably going to scan it. And then remember, if they scan it, they're on that drip list now.
Yep.
So if they haven't sold their house, like you're the most persistent agent in their market because I guarantee you nobody else is going to send 6 follow-up mails.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So here's the QR code. I don't know if Lawrence is on, but this was driving a few of you guys nuts the last few weeks. But the QR code works. It looks like this.
I could open up a real property here in a second that's got a address tied to it.
Yeah. But basically, it will. I'm going in here because I know that I tested this, and this might be one of the bad tests. No, here we go. Nope, that's one of the bad tests. We had an issue with where the address 2 was missing. If you had a blank address 2 for a few weeks, it would zero out. That's been resolved and fixed. And it was fixed for all cards that had already gone out. But basically, we go here. I'm just going to do the insert just to get it done here. What's going on, guys, is that the cards are dynamically populating with that recipient's info. So the tricky part for us is that we need to manually put an address into the URL because that's the way it looks like when it gets scanned over from the QR code. So I'm just doing
all this happens automatically for you, so you don't have to mess with it.
Yeah.
And the nice thing is if there's something jacked up, you get notified when someone scans it and you can play firefighter, right? Like you can diffuse it like, hey, something looks a little wonky. It's just like when they dispute the value, right? That obstacle is an opportunity.
Same concept.
Yep.
Yeah. Joe, drop me a link that's
here, I'll pull one up for you here real fast here.
Yeah.
Here, I'm going to hit share on my screen real quick. Is you cool with that?
Yep.
All right, cool. I've got one pulled up really fast. Which desk monitor are we going to share? All right. So, real quick, and I wanted to highlight this for everybody like watching and listening. These are not just things that Josh like says, right? He actively is doing this. Look, Josh is number 1 for this week on our visitor board. Number 1. He is number 5 on our instant offers this week, and he's number 3 on listing opportunities created. And you know why he's on the top of the leaderboard? Because he has the combination of the CRM automation with Thanks.io consistently engaging, not one-offs, consistently engaging. So I wanted to show this because it's interesting on my side. I can watch people go up and down. And Josh, I was talking to an agent as last week, but I can tell when your automations fire because I see your name go ding, 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 crawl up to the top. And so it's really, really interesting. So anybody watching this, what Josh is saying, he practices it. I mean, these are real-time stats for the last 7 days. So let me open up that link. Let me open up a link really quick that Ryan was showing. I'm going to do my cheat code here. I'm just going to type in an address here. Let's go.
Now, by the way, so the dashboard Joe is going to show you, number 1, if they scan the QR code, it sends them right to it. They don't have to log in. They don't have to, they don't have to create an account. They don't have to do anything. It also works that way through email. What Joe just demonstrated here is if you're sending traffic to that, let's say you have a Facebook, Instagram, Google ad, you can send them to that landing page as well. And you can create custom landing pages, et cetera. But when you've got it, when it's integrated with Thanks or with the Smarty CRM that we shared last week, or with KB Core or any of the other integrated CRM solutions that Joe has set up, they get taken right to it. It's not like they don't have any extra steps or anything. Like it's a really, it's a great experience and engagement tool for sellers. And that's the beauty of this.
Yeah. Imagine getting one of those postcards that Ryan was just talking about, right? And you see your house, you see a message, you scan that QR code, and literally seconds later, you're looking at your house, the agent, right? You're looking at the values that we were just talking about. A homeowner can actually play with their values. Most importantly, we're actually giving them 3 instant offers on their house immediately.
Yep.
Simply by scanning the QR code. No redirects, no logins, no account creations. Instant value that you can hand your client. And then, of course, you can also talk about listing options that you create. But this is the experience we want to create for every seller, like Josh was saying, whether it's from your CRM, clicking a link in an email, whether it's from a social link, or once again, one of my absolute favorite combos out there is the QR code with Thanks and the variety of ways you can use that. But once again, it's creating this experience directly for your consumers. Now, what Josh was talking about just a second ago, sorry, I just took a shortcut instead of trying to customize the code here. Our visitor report, you have real-time views on who the person is. If they scanned a QR code, it actually says QR code scan right here. So Ryan, don't let me forget, we're tracking every QR code scan. Let's build out some kind of, I hate zaps, but we could even start with that, where it would automatically just put it in that agent's hot QR code list, like automatically, right? Because we're able to track that, and we could even send that, right? Of course, I know you track it too, but I think that'd be a really fun thing to do. But we're tracking who it is, who scanned it, how many times they clicked on it, how many times they looked at it. And the good thing is all of this data that you have access to here, all of the property data, all of the financial information, equity in their property, everything, you have access to that, not only here in iList, but we just put all of this information directly back in your CRM. So imagine somebody scans a Thanks.io postcard, instant data. And when you go into your CRM, you don't just see who the person is and what they scanned. You actually have a full data set on that property, equity, mortgage, everything. So
what Joe is illustrating is something that they are dedicated to, which is constantly making the thing better, because that was a recent upgrade that Mike, it was like an Easter egg, because Mike found it before I heard Joe talking about it. He sent me a screenshot and he was like, yo, it's tagging high equity people. So that's that's another beautiful thing with the platform is you guys are not resting on your laurels. It's constantly looking for ways to improve and upgrade the platform for all the users. I love it.
Yeah. And then I'll highlight one more thing, and then we can go any direction you want to. But when a homeowner you give homeowners custom dashboards, but more importantly, when a homeowner is wanting to explore cash offers, right? Let me just highlight how fast and easy this is, because I know a lot of agents out there are still thinking like, okay, they want offers. How are we going to do this, right? So whether you work with Ryan, whether you work with Josh, like watch how simple this is. You click one button that says, give me offers. You confirm all of the information. Most of it's pre-populated. Some items are populated. We just need you to kind of finish answering a few questions on them. We bring in current values, ARVs. We bring in mortgage, equity, payoffs. You simply make a couple of selections, and now you can select from some of the largest buyers in the nation. So I'm just going to select one just for fun. Let's build you in a little commission here, and watch this. In less than 3 seconds, we're going to have multiple offers on this property. 3, 2, 1, and here we go. Now you have multiple offers. So it's not just the scanning and automating and taking to a cool experience. We actually want you to be able to generate results that you can use for conversion, right? Use these offers to hopefully get them accepted. More importantly, use these offers as a springboard for conversations and conversions over to listings. So everything we do, we want it to be fast, automated at the click of a button. And, with what we do with thanks and CRMs and like Josh's templates that he has available now in multiple places, man, when you connect these components, it's an awesome experience for you and your consumers.
So Rosemary, I don't know if it's Rosemary or Rosemarie, I'm sorry, but she had asked about the buyer part of that. So that they are built in there now. Okay.
Yep.
And you can add your own buyer network.
Oh yeah. This is an awesome feature we rolled out. Like most agents, like I guarantee you, Ryan, from all of the transactions that you do in various parts of real estate, how many buyers do you have coming to you on a weekly basis saying, hey, Ryan, let me borrow you part of your network, right? Send me deals. So
you can put your investor clients in there?
Yeah, you can come in here and check this out. Click invite buyer. And Ryan, you just take this link, copy it. It's custom to you. And when you do that, Ryan, buyers will show up right here. They have full-blown buy boxes and everything based on criteria, based on age, square foot, right? A buyer gets to customize their own buy box. And now
they get to see all the deals that come through that platform.
Exactly.
Oh.
And they're custom to you, Ryan. Meaning, Ryan, if you have this awesome list of buyers, Josh can't see it, right? They're yours. So we have them isolated to the user. A lot of people are nervous about that. They are isolated to you, the user. But now when you come in here and hit request offers, you can now go nationally and locally at the click of a button.
James Brown, who is one of my phenomenal agents in Denver, Colorado area. You can send him your referrals out there. He has 50 of his own investors in iList. That's pretty freaking cool. Okay. I will admit, I have not utilized that yet, but it's on my to-do because I'm getting more and more investors that reach out to me. And so I need to add them in there. In fact, I have 3 off the top of my head that I need to add in there like when we're done here.
Yeah, and where are you going to get the most listings from? It's from the investor who owns a whole bunch of properties already. So you might
exactly.
This is an opportunity to provide a ton of value for those guys.
We had a user in the Atlanta market. I won't throw his name out, but we had a user in the Atlanta market using the exact tools we're all talking about right here. He had an investor reach out to him about the marketing he sent to them, and that investor turns out to be a build to rent investor, and he's got 70 doors he's looking to sell now. From one piece of marketing, it could potentially turn into 70 doors because of the experience he put in front of him.
Like it's just a wonderful example of demonstrating that you're not like every other agent, right? Yeah. Like when you demonstrate that that what makes you different, the right people, you don't have to explain to them.
Yep.
They get it. They're like, oh, this guy or gal, they're different, right? They're not just like every other agent or realtor out there. They're aggressive, they're cutting edge, they're whatever words you want to, innovative, etc. A bunch of people have been asking for my affiliate links. Thank you. If you're watching on the live stream, it should be in the description. We've also been dropping them in the comments. If you're watching here, if you're in the Zoom room with us, I've been dropping them as well. You can also go to growwithjosh.com/tech, growwithjosh.com/tech. That's a Google Doc with all of the resources, 2 of which we're talking about today. We've gotten some great questions. Some of them, that are collaborative answers, and some of them not. We've also got some great comments, like Carrie says that this is a fabulous postcard. Yeah, and by the way, I don't know, Ryan, did you show any of the ugly yellow ones? Those work great as well. The plain white ones work. The ugly yellow ones work. And I don't even think you mentioned, Ryan, one of the the interactive QR code that also sends notifications, etc. That's really cool. But did you even mention the dynamic? And maybe because I'm trying to monitor the comments as well, maybe I missed it. The fact that you can dynamically put their house on the card as well. Did you hit that? You're muted.
One of my favorite features.
You're muted, Ryan.
Sorry, I was muted. That's usually what's going on, is that we're dynamically putting it in by clicking on Street View right here.
Yep.
And then we'll use one of your ugly yellows here. So test. And what's going on with the iList card is that we're merging in attributes of the recipient into the iList URL. That's how the magic kind of happens there. And then iList takes that info and turns it into the data. So, but yeah, this Street View would show up right over here. And I'm doing a course now. Have you guys seen the ads for, you sent it to me, Josh, the butt ugly postcards?
Yeah.
There's a course. If you see an ad for it on Facebook, I'll probably be emailing a link to it out. It was like $20. It's really a course, but basically the gist of it is less is more. Everything we talk about all the time, Josh, direct response, ugly yellow, big headline. Don't try to be pretty. It's the biggest mistake you can make, guys, with all marketing, but with direct mail in particular. Don't make it look corporate and polished.
And one offer, like talk about one thing, not like the 6 cool things or the 5 cool things. For example, one of the national buyer or one of the examples that Joe showed as optional buyers has several different options to sell. There's a fix and list, there's a sell and stay, there's a cash plus. Like, don't put those all on the same marketing message. One of them, talk about one of them, and then if someone responds to that one, it means, maybe they're interested in that. But when you try and muddy it all up with, here are 5 cool things, whatever, it just means your response rate is going to go down because a confused mind just, in this case, doesn't say no. It just goes into the circular file, right? So just keep it simple, make it clear and concise, 4th grade reading level, right? Like, don't confuse people trying to sound smart or professional. Like, simple works, and we'll get you better response.
I still want to try the "Is your name Josh" card. You know the card I'm talking about?
That's an incredible text message, by the way. Is this Ryan? Right? Like, you send that if you're trying to get somebody and they're not responding, and you just say, "Hey, is this Ryan?"
If your name is, scan the QR code. The point being that it doesn't need to be. You could just do this, or is this your house?
Mm-hmm.
Do that. Is this your house? And then merge in the first name, do the Street View, and then iList.com, whatever your URL will happen to be.
Yep.
If yes, scan the QR. And then the other, this is just straight curiosity. The other side could just be the same thing. Hey, if your house is on the other side of this card, scan the QR.
Yep.
And they scan it. It shows the whole iList thing with all that data. And then ideally, you have some kind of automation that replies back and says, "Hey, John, thanks for scanning my code. What'd you think of that data I just showed you?"
So that's where you integrate Smarty, number one. Number two, also they go to the page and then they start checking out their cash offers. You get notified of that as well. You've got the data that Joe mentioned. So they scan it and it's somebody with high equity, for example. Then you know that information, right? A simple follow-up is you call them and you say, "Hey, listen, hey, Ryan, I know this is completely out of the blue and I know it's a long shot, but would you be at all open to entertaining offers for your property at, 123 Main Street?" That's a very low key way to avoid them hanging up on you, right? It's a little pattern in our, "Hey, I know this is out of the blue and it's completely a long shot, blah, blah, blah." I found that to be a good way of, at least getting the message out there. And then they, "No, I don't." "Hey, well, totally get that. Anybody else in the neighborhood you've heard or seen talking about selling?" So it's a great way to follow up with those. Lawrence, how do you change the font size on the front of the card? You can't on the dynamics, and there's no reason to. If you want to make your own custom, you can make it whatever you want, but the dynamic is what the dynamic is. You can change the font type, I think, or no?
No, not on this side, unfortunately. You can, the answer, Lawrence, you can make a custom, this overlay image URL, you can make a custom underlay using Photoshop. You just have to line up where the QR code shows and do a transparent underlay. It's complicated. I can't even figure it out. I have our designer do it.
But if you see, though, some of the different templates, the font size is a little bit different depending on the way that the template is structured. I've found the best one is the plain white or the plain yellow, where there's the least amount going on. It's dynamically inserting the picture of their house. You can do street view or map view, right? If you're in a rural area where there might not be street views, you can do map view, and the QR code. And honestly, like the logo top left, take it or leave it. Like, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, it's just our brains need as little as possible to focus on at one time. So it's the less is more thing.
Yep.
But Lawrence, if you need something custom, we can do it for you. I'll always push back.
I'm gonna offer Lawrence some tough love. I'm just gonna say use it out of the box and see what your results are. You might be trying to fix something that doesn't need fixing, and that goes. And I'm not picking on Lawrence. That's I would say generally speaking, and I get this way too. Well, I kind of want it to be like this. Just if we know it's working, just give it a try first, right? Take what we know is working, and then you can always eventually, as you get experience and feedback, et cetera, then you can play with it. But if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I know that's an old cliche, but it works.
I'm showing examples of what the custom underlay can do on the screen. That's what I'm doing here, Josh. Like it can do it, but we sent this card, didn't get any more of a response rate than just doing it without the job well done and the fancy, and it took me like an hour to do. It was a pain.
Yep.
I say we go Super Bowl commercial from what was that, 2 years ago, where on your screen there's just a black screen with a QR code bouncing around.
Oh yeah.
Just a postcard, no words, QR code on it. Yep. Nothing else.
Love it. That's right up Ryan's alley. I mean, you are talking his language right there. Are these instant offers available in all states, Jackie? Not all of them, right? Like the buy boxes vary, et cetera. But you will have
most states you can get offers on. It might not be multiple offers, but in most states, two of our predominant buyers do buy in most states. Now, within that state, if you're very rural, meaning population density is less than a certain number, that might be a limiting factor. But they'll probably at least make an offer. Now, can they actually go through and execute on that offer? That's where the density and items like that come into play. But once again, that answer is still a great answer, right? Where if a buyer, and Josh hit on this, but if a buyer says, well, hey, I know we made an offer after review, we can't really do it because of this and this, use that to your benefit. Use that to show that homeowner that's exactly why we need to get exposure here, here, and here. because this is what it is, right? There is no bad answer. A lot of times agents, they get so stuck on the no, they forget it's really easy to turn that into a yes.
And honestly, you probably don't want them to take that offer anyway.
Oh, you can always, I'll tell you this right now. There are some instances where this is not true, but in the majority of the cases, you will always maximize your client's value by going on the open market.
Here's the bad news. Here's the good news. Let's look at this, right?
Yep.
And make a compelling reason why let's go this route. And ultimately, it's up to you. Here's the nice thing. When you're presenting more than one option, they're choosing which option. They're not choosing yes or no.
Yep.
So we got a great, Jewel, thank you for being patient. We got a great question early on that I think is very applicable to many folks, even if the situation isn't exactly the same as her. She said, I just moved to a new location. So I don't have a database. I don't have a sphere of influence. I don't have past clients in the new location, which would also apply to you if you're, starting over in the same location, or you're a new agent, or any number of, examples. What would you recommend in that situation to start to build a database? And I have my thoughts on it, but this is why, Mastermind is great here. I think we can provide some different context and ideas for Jewel and for anyone where that may be, applicable.
Yeah, I'll give you my 2 thoughts on that real quick, because I get asked this question. We get approached by a lot of agents. They're like, I've got to have something hitting by end of month. Like, what can we do here? Right? Same scenario. Number 1, get leads flowing in. And I'm not talking about paying crazy high dollars for them. Let's go the low hanging fruit. FSBOs, canceled, expireds. Let's start with those because you can get those from multiple sources in pretty much any market. Let's go FSBOs. Take buy owners, right? And imagine if you had a list of buy owners automatically going into your database daily and automatically tagged by owner. So whether you're using KV Core, Smarties, any CRM, they can pretty much do that exact same thing. Now imagine a for sale by owner coming into your CRM. It's tagged by owner. You can have a message that immediately goes out to them acknowledging that, hey, I see you're selling by owner. Hey, I've got buyers looking in the market area. Your house checks off a lot of the boxes. Are you okay if I bring you some offers? Mm-hmm. That one simple conversation. If you started doing that today, I promise you would have conversations going today. And now you don't stop with that, though. You layer in follow-up with thanks, right? Target these. We're using the tools we just talked about. But when agents tell me they don't have leads in a database, that's my number 1 answer is you can create that from a variety of sources, right? And the easy low-hanging fruit, FSBOs, canceled, expireds, and then you can build on it from there.
Yep. Ryan, thoughts?
Yeah, I might just list just sold other people's listings with
somebody brought up in the comments as well. I think it was Eric mentioned that. Yep.
And I'll just show, this is just a little bit of a fringe idea, but this is an orphan letter. So it basically says, hey, it targets people who bought their house 5 years ago, assuming that the agent has disappeared, which they probably have, and just says, hey, you have a 5-year anniversary coming up. I'm writing to offer my assistance. Do you need to tap some equity? Do you need an investment property? I'm here to help. So, it's cold. You probably do better just doing open houses and meeting people belly to belly, but this is an approach you could take.
The only point I would add to this is I think this is applicable to anyone, honestly, but especially here. Think about going an inch wide and a mile deep, not a mile wide and an inch deep. If it's FSBO, expired, and maybe one other audience, likely downsizer, pre-foreclosure, absentee owner, whatever, and go deep with that audience, with direct mail, with digital marketing, retarget, building a retargeting list where you feel like you're everywhere to that smaller subset of people, such that, the nice thing with FSBO and expired and picking one of those other potentially motivated seller types is, you're not just going broadly. You have some confidence that these are people, especially with FSBO expired, like they're obviously trying to sell. So you can confidently invest time, energy, and money into connecting with and building rapport and relationship with that audience. So yeah, I mean, I think I think that's probably a good place to start. I did move from Denver to Austin 7 years ago. I did an open house every weekend, Jackie says. There you go. There's that as well, right? So maybe that's what you do during the week, and on the weekends you're doing open houses, right? You're borrowing listings from people in your office, and you're doing open houses with that audience as well.
Yeah, renters, even going another way, if you want to work first time buyers, renters are pretty underserved. Mail, since we're talking about mail, is a good way to. Pretty easy to find renters with mail and do the thanks for paying my mortgage card or something like that.
Yep.
Evil landlord.
Peter asks, just curious, using iList, Thanks, and Smarty, can KV Core be eliminated? Yes. Yes.
I don't think there's anybody here. I work for Inside Real Estate still. I'm wondering what relevance IDX feeds and MLS have anymore in today's day and age. That's the only thing you don't get with these tools is the IDX feed. So if you're making an economic decision, you can still go pick that up off the shelf from IDX Broker or something for $50 right now.
And they've got native integrations with these other CRMs. So it's like you do have to add it, but you can have it looking and feeling as native as you want to. But Ryan, I'm with you on that, man. How many, let's be real here in this group, right? If you as an agent, right? If you are looking like James, if you're looking for a property in your market, and you're just driving down the street, are you sitting there logging into your app, or are you just going to Zillow or Realtor.com in 2 seconds?
Yeah.
That is the same answer that every client out there is doing, right? Don't overvalue IDX on your website to the fault where you're missing out on other features that'll generate more.
You can beat your head against the wall to try and overcome that, or you could focus on what you have more control in, and that's building a relationship or building rapport with those folks, such that when they find, and this, I'm not tooting my own horn here, but this is relevant. This morning, I woke up to an email with a screenshot. I don't even know what app it was from. Maybe it was Realtor.com. It was a screenshot from a gal that I've had email conversation with. We've had text conversation with. I never even talked to her on the phone, I don't think. And she said, I want to go see this house as soon as possible. And it was a screenshot from Realtor.com. It wasn't on my MLS. It wasn't from my KV Core IDX feed or any of that. I just think if you're gonna work hard at something, work hard at using tools and technology so that when that person finds the property, whether they're driving or using an app, they ask you because they've already decided that you're the real estate professional that they should work with. So we can have the argument about the relativity or the usefulness of IDX on your site, et cetera. But the bigger takeaway is you need to be doing the work to build that sense in their mind that when they find the right property or when they're ready to sell, that they're going to reach out to you. And that's texting, that's emailing, that's DMing, that's personal video messaging, that's maybe picking up the phone and call, and it's using direct mail. Like that's how you do that and ensure that they're not going to go with, one of every market, there's many other options they could go with, right? Really good stuff here. James, in the interest of masterminding and brainstorming, this is a wonderful idea, right? This might not be applicable to everybody, but he said, get your own buyers in there if there aren't institutional instant offer buyers. I would say do that either way. Okay. And you can find buyers on Facebook groups very easy, always flippers looking for off-market properties. So you go into local Facebook groups in your market for real estate investors and just look through what people are looking for properties, and even ones that have properties that wholesalers, whatever, and just DM them. Hey, can I add you to our local buyers list or whatever? That creates the opportunity where you're building a relationship with them, right? And then when you start adding properties in there and you're notifying them, you're demonstrating, hey, I'm in the game here. I'm doing the work. I think that's it's something that I should be doing. And like I said, I'm going to be adding some of my buyers this afternoon.
Yeah, Josh, on that note, we had a local agent here. Same thing, right? She wanted to do more with the local buyers versus institutional, but she said I didn't have any. I did the exact same things James said. I said, hey, go on Facebook, find local investor groups. And I even took a shortcut. I should have told her what you said, but I said, hey, take that link we give you and just say, hey, I'm constantly sourcing properties that are off market coming soon. If you want access to these, join my buyer network. And she had like 40 something buyers join in over a 48-hour period. And she's like, oh my gosh. And the only thing she did was drop her link in there. I probably should have been a little more specific, but it worked.
Cool idea, James and Josh. I guess this is where Craigslist is useful also. Absolutely. That would be great. And you might even search Marketplace. Why does it do that? I don't know how to get it to do the balloon thing, but it's like every week I do something and the balloons fly. I guess it's the peace sign. I don't know. You just gave me a great idea. So I send out a weekly email to my entire database, and that's going to be, I've been trying hemming and hawing about what I'm going to do this week. It's iHeart EXP week. So I've been creating social media content about, getting support for local and out of area, charitable organizations, et cetera. And I was going to do something around that, and I still probably will. But that instead of a deal of the week, hey, do you want to have exclusive access to off-market deals through I have to figure out the terming and the language of how I want to do that. But somebody asked, I think this is what Jacqueline was asking. How do you do that in iList? Can you show Joe again how you can add buyers and then where in the flow where you would, there's just a checkbox that
I'll show you.
Send them to.
Yep, I'll show you how easy it is. So from your main dashboard in iList, if you come up here to your buyer network and you click buyer network, you can manually add them. So let's say you've got 2 or 3. You might just want to add them yourself, right? Add their information in here, hit save. What I typically do is just grab the invite link and copy it. This link is custom to you and your platform already, and you can just message that out. It'll open up a profile on their side. They can fill everything out, and now you have a buyer. One cool thing I didn't talk about is we actually track what markets they buy in, how many offers they've made with you, and how many offers they've closed. So it's not just about easily creating your buyer network. It's about managing, like, who are your top performing buyers out there. And you can do all of that very, very easily. Now, if you want to send a property out to them.
Joe, hold on. One thing. I'm saying this for 2 reasons. One, so Mike can make note of this. So I did it again. It is the peace sign. It must be it. I would use this as a 1-2 punch for text. Don't send them the link. Hey, and I'll work on the language of how I want the script to sound, but you get their permission, then you send them the link where they can create their account. And I'll probably do it as a 1-2 punch, even by email. I'm not going to include the link in there. I'm going to get them to ask for it, basically. Yeah. Because if they do that, they're going to be much more likely to then actually fill it out as well. And I then am building a list that I can follow up with if I see that they didn't create their buyer profile.
Yeah, that's a great way to do it, because you could also use that information for a lot of different marketing in the future as well. So that's a great way of doing it. So if you want to send a property out to your personal buyer network, you can select from all of our institutional buyers, and you can select from your personal buyer network. When you hit request, what we do is make sure that that property's attributes match the buyer box. And if it does, an email goes out to them with data, photos, and a link where they can make an offer. And when they make an offer, that offer shows up just like any other buyer, where you can see who made the offer, what the buyer's name is. You can even open the offer up, look at every detail of it, and then choose if you want to share it to your seller or not. And so it is a very, very easy way to connect to local professionals, manage that, and put deals in their lap. So it all starts with
one more time, Joe. So you're in your console, you go to buyer network, then you hit the invite buyer button. Isabel had asked. She wanted to know where to get the link.
Okay,
You can manually add folks. You can manually add them, or you could just copy that link. And what we're going to do is create a short URL for that. So it'll probably be like joshvips.com / secret buyer list or something. I don't know.
Yeah. But it's a great way. And I always tell agents, like, think of ways where you can stand apart to sellers. If you're having a conversation with a seller about thinking about listing or trying to, you want to work with them on listing, think of things that are going to separate you from a crowded space. And you can say, hey, I have a private network of 42 vetted buyers who are looking. The second I walk out of here, I'm going to put your property in front of them. And that's not even counting the MLS and everything else we're going to do, right? Like, you have the ability to differentiate yourself by using these super easy tools. So
this is great. I try to keep these to an hour. We've got so here's what I'm going to do in the interest of wrapping this up, because I also have a 12:15 that I got to get ready for. If we missed any questions, comments, etc., please let me know, or let us know personally. You can find Ryan and Joe. They're on socials and so forth. That's number one. Number two, we had a few folks ask about the replay. So the replay will be available immediately after in the Facebook group, Wake Up Real Estate Facebook group. We'll also compile the all of the resources that we mentioned, etc., and then add that replay with the resources to wakeup.realestate under mastermind replays. And we'll, if you're getting our email reminders, we're going to send that out tomorrow, the replay and all of that. The resources, if you go to growwithjosh.com/tech, that's all of my recommended resources. We've also shared specifically my affiliate link for iList, and thanks. Just know that these are platforms that I promote because I'm using them and I believe in them. And, I think that they can truly help you do more business, right? And create more conversation opportunities and more client opportunities by utilizing them. Next week's mastermind, let me just double check. I've actually been scheduling these out a little bit. I've been a little bit more proactive. So next week we have a special guest from PropStream, which is a data provider. I have them coming on to show some of the cool new updates and upgrades that they've made, and some ways that you might find motivated sellers with their platform. It's a data provider that I've been using and recommending for years as well. And I'm trying to sequence these in such a way that, like, you get your CRM and your automated follow-up and your AI and your chatbot going, right? Then you layer on some direct mail and the iList platform to create even more engagement and opportunities. And then, we got to put more in the top of the funnel to kick them out at the bottom. So that should be fun. We'll do the same next week. You can come join us in the Zoom room. We'll live stream it in the Facebook group as well. If you just kind of want to lurk in the background, totally fine. And Joe and Ryan, thanks for spending an hour with us.
Thank you, Josh.
Appreciate you. Thanks, everybody. Let's get to work on implementing. If you don't have your sphere of influence database past client organized, that's your homework for this afternoon, so you can get them on a staggered send with thanks.io, and make sure that you've got iList so that when they scan the QR code, they can engage with their seller dashboard. Thanks, everybody. Let us know if we can help or if we missed any questions, and let's make it a great rest of the week.